Hey, Epic Gamer Nation. Duncan, Mittens, Marketplace, popular YouTuber clone Kevduit here. Today, Skyrim, but with rubber chicken. Immediately, there are so many things wrong here, but hey, guess you could just say I'm horsing around. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more funny jokes like that. Seeing my surroundings, I knew my foes would be formidable enemies, like that guy literally flying right there. Knowing this whole situation was gonna be a problem, I did the right thing. Help. At this point, I realized that this wasn't the horsey hayride I thought I was signing up for. Now, the green horse was freaking out, probably because he knew what I was attempting to do here. He then activated his inner anime. The savage beast had the audacity to ask who I was. Obviously, I am Lucario, but my drinking buddies, if I had any, call me Luke. They weren't impressed. I then watched a pony decapitate another pony. I thought it was all part of an elaborate skit, until I got here myself. So anyways, a pro wrestler swooped in to steal the show, completely ruining the experience. At this point, I had only one objective: chicken. I outran the stupid ponies. My life mattered more. Now, one of them cut me free, the absolute fool. Now, the horse that freed me got a little distracted by being murdered, so feeling a little awkward tension in the room, I decided to just sneak on by him there. Even though a dragon was literally ripping the place apart, the guards still seemed more interested in me. I get it, catching a wild Lucario ain't easy. Finally, I made my daring escape, and I ran into the wild without looking back. Now, of course, every chicken-wielding master chooses the warrior stone. Pikachu wouldn't shut up about this chest, so I searched it and got literally 1 rupee. What a waste of my time. And then I came across this. Bark, bark. At last, the rubber chicken shop. I had arrived. Sadly, 2 of the most heavily armored guards stood between me and obliterating every single pro wrestler with nothing but a rubber chicken. So I did the one thing I knew I had to do for the sake of this nation. Now, once the guards had been neutralized, I broke into their chicken chest. What an absolute specimen. I could feel its power exerting like a 10-day-old bean burrito put in a microwave for 3 hours. A whole 8 damage. That was 8 more damage than I currently had with just my bare fists. Now, the guard escaped his bondage with just 1 flick of his Justin Bieber-like hair, but he didn't see a thing. Now, at this point, I was beyond ready to start committing war crimes with this rubber chicken, but Pikachu continued to throw in stupid comments like this. On my way to Whiterun, I ran into a group of thugs on the road. They pushed me around like a nerd with milk money. They reeked of freshly buried corpses. Things were not right in these lands. Regardless, I began my ascent to the Jarl. As I entered the palace, I was approached by some sort of goth emo GF, and I could tell that she had just recently come back from burning ants with a magnifying glass. I tried to explain my plan to the Jarl, but Pikachu kept slandering him right to his face. He demanded Pikachu be executed immediately. And so I rode off, ready to prove my rubber chicken's use to the Jarl. Sadly, Pikachu is immortal, so I was stuck traveling with him. Also, my hands were Minecraft. I murdered everyone outside the ruins, 1 slap of rubber at a time, until somehow I managed to actually impale someone with a rubber chicken. We continued our justified slaughter, and Pikachu single-handedly killed a spider. So good, Pikachu, you killed a spider. Don't quit your day job. Then Pikachu, with his uncontrollable rage, killed me with extreme prejudice. I learned a new word. Pikachu then killed an overlord. His lust for bloodshed could not be quenched. I found this stupid rock, watched Pikachu murder again, and then I, myself, also decided to dabble a bit in the spirit of the hunt. Pikachu got his bones crushed by a rock slide. I then found him, Lucario 2, the sequel to me. He was just chilling, cooking what I can only suppose to have been a human. Lucario was a proud cannibal. I gave the Jarl his stupid rock, and once again, Pikachu spewed words of insult and hatred. I showed the rubber chicken all the lands we would enslave. I don't want to explain myself. Sometimes I wonder if what I've done hurts people. Anyways, I charged after the dragon. With a rubber chicken, it took me approximately 17 fortnights to finally show the dragon how weak it really was. Now that's a big GG, wouldn't you say, fellow gamers? Then, without any reason, And once again, I was off on a grand adventure, doing cool things like riding a pony and decapitating mages. Here I stopped to marvel in the beauty of this moment. And then immediately afterwards, I fell into a cavern littered with traps. I hated it here, but Pikachu lives for the slaughter. Finally, I found my way out. Back on track with my quest, I rode valiantly up to the palace of old men who probably smell like poorly aged cheese. They taught me a phrase only the most legendary warriors can truly grasp. Begone, Thot! Then there was this whole situation where I lost my head and Pikachu tried to put me out of my misery. So anyways, after that, we killed a bunch of stray horses and headed straight into danger as Pikachu wants nothing more than to live life feeling the regret of all of those he's killed. I dove into the kiddie pool, learned a new word, and finally got the Zora tunic. Once again, Pikachu was murdering cultists in cold blood. Then I accidentally did this. Realizing I just used not a rubber chicken to complete the game, I restarted from the beginning. I was getting quite confident in the chicken at this point. An assassin tried to jump us on our travels. Then I finally got what I wanted, to kill another named dragon and absorb its soul with nothing more but a rubber chicken to my name. Then I met Forsty the Snowman. He was pretty chill. An old man breathed on me. It smelled like Doritos. Well, at this point, I thought it was high time that I got married. And since all of the single guys in Riverwood wanted Camilla, well, I killed all the single guys that wanted Camilla in Riverwood. We got married the next day. But Pikachu wouldn't shut up during the ceremony as he was already drunk. I finally arrived at the estate, and my first priority, of course, was to matchmake. I was convinced that, like all my other friends, I was a professional matchmaker. I knew exactly who would end up with who. But then, once again, like all my friends, I was wrong. Man, if I had a nickel for every time I watched an absolute train wreck between two people I match-made, resulting in one of them being wrongly banished to a dungeon for who knows how long, I'd have 2 nickels. Ah well, none of that mattered. I snuck into the private quarters, grabbed my chicken, maxed out my one-headed tree, and pretended the enemies didn't know I was already there and were converging on my location with murderous intent. I escaped without a scratch. Sadly, they caught on to me quicker than I anticipated. And so I died, and I died, and died, and perished, until I finally managed to kill the nerds. I tried to show this guy how cool my rubber chicken was, but all he could focus on was the fact he was being tortured. I ended up needing to find some nerd named Esbern, and apparently this guy, he knew how to get in, but for the price of proving my worth as a thief. Sadly, I broke the only lockpick he gave me. I tried yelling at him during his distraction that I broke the lockpick, but he completely ignored me. Then I took matters into my own hands and just murdered my way through the sewers, whether those people were innocent or not. I watched Frosty the Snowman brutally impale a man, got killed by Pikachu again, and got suplexed by John Cena twice. It obviously wasn't the easy path, but I finally made it to Esbern. One look at my chicken and he let me right on in. And then Pikachu murdered me again. It was in moments like this that I questioned my entire existence. My life was a tragedy. I met a Cyclops who I thought was friendly. He wasn't. Then I did something I had never done before. I one-shot a pony with a rubber chicken. I then snuck my way through their fortress carefully and without triggering traps, unlike Pikachu over there. I tried to get up the mountain, but a goat shoved me to my death. When we finally reached Parthenax, Pikachu is the kind of guy who chooses to kill him right away. And so with that being said, Parthenax killed my entire crew. I found out that if you just run fast enough, you fall off of high places and die. Also, if you open up certain doors, you'll die. When my companions finally caught up to me, we had the battle of the century. Me, the rubber chicken man, versus them, the elves with bad hygiene. It was surely a battle to remember. Sadly, I was completely drunk on mead the entire time, so I don't remember a thing. Only the carnage afterwards. So anyways, I yelled at a big ball in the sky and unleashed a dragon. But in order to actually fight the dragon, I had to murder my way through droves of ponies, and let me just say, they sucked at fighting. I finally managed to fight the dragon, which only took me a total of 19 minutes and 118 health potions to eventually kill the thing with a rubber chicken. But regardless of that absolute waste of time, I managed to capture what may just be the most epic moment in all of video game history. Truly a sight to behold. After that encounter, I got to push a lot of buttons randomly to hope they somehow completed a puzzle, which eventually it did. I grabbed that Elder Scroll, booked it back up the mountain, and read that thing faster than a new Bone graphic novel than when I was in grade 6. And then Alduin, clearly upset, flew on in, and I had to beat the tar out of him for a solid 10 minutes as the rubber chicken is... well, it's a rubber chicken. Eventually, he gave up, knowing that he was no match for my power. Then this happened, again. Then I had to convince the Jarl to kidnap a dragon, and he's all like,
I'll kidnap 1,000 dragons before I let this company die.
And just like two neckbeards bumping into each other at Walmart, things got political, and I was forced to sit and listen to adults talk when all I wanted to do was go outside and play with a rubber chicken. Tullius asked me a stupid question. When you play dumb games, you win stupid prizes, you piece of garbage. Also, I had to sit next to this nonsense the whole time. It was finished. I hated every minute of it, and I had to go to the bathroom for the last 20 minutes. I rushed off with haste. Finally, the Jarl said, do it. And so I did. And many people died in the process. Luckily, Randy Savage was prideful enough to approach Frosty the Snowman, allowing us to trap him. So I talked with the dragon, and he's like, yo, let a guy out of here. I'll pay for your air miles to Sovngarde. So then I went up to the guard and said, yo, let this guy out of there. And the guy was like, whatever, I hate all of you people. Well, my journey was almost complete, but my build wasn't ready yet for one reason. It was complete trash. I then spent the next 30 minutes creating the most legendary rubber chicken wielding build known to man, to the point where my rubber chickens would deal just slightly more damage. And so I flew off on the wrestler, realizing I was headed to Sovngarde with nothing but rubber chickens. It was time for me to test out the new chickens. And so I fought rubber chickens clenched tightly in both of my Minecraft-like hands as I ripped and tore through every single enemy that stood in my path. I became one with the rubber chickens that day, like they were some form of plastic surgery part of my body, like I had genetically been born with two massive rubber chickens attached to my arms. I slaughtered every single thing in my path until I reached this loser with a mask on, so I absolutely destroyed that nerd. I then used the Stargate to head straight to Sovngarde. I knew that this is where it would all end. So I invited a bunch of dead people to come squat up with me, and they were like,
bro, Alduin is easy peasy dude. He's not even endgame content.
So we got outside and had a quick singing competition. Alduin had enough of that real quick. I realized that this was it. I was about to beat Skyrim on Legendary with nothing but rubber chickens. The atmosphere grew dark. When Alduin landed, I used every fiber in my being to swing those rubber chickens for everything they were worth. I was unstoppable, except when he hit me once, and I had to drink a health potion because that was ouch. But after that, I was unstoppable. I had done it. I had just utterly embarrassed Alduin by annihilating him from existence using nothing but rubber chickens. My journey was complete. And then this guy was like,